Here is Babucarr Njie Ponkal, and this is his story. To set the context, Njie served as the bodyguard to Sana B. Sabali, the former vice chairman of the Armed Forces Provisional Ruling Council, AFPRC. During Sabali's tenure, numerous human rights violations were reportedly carried out by his bodyguards. A significant number of these accusations have been directed at the witness present here today, who has come forward to defend himself.
So he identified you clearly as the person who insulted him on the 6th of September 1994. Why would he say that you did it if you did not?
That is what doubts me. Because why should I insult him? What did he do to me that will warrant me to this day to insult him just like that? Just like that.
Prior to coming here, you were informed that allegations have been made against you, and you were served with a notice of adverse mention. Is that correct?
That's correct.
First of all, the torture of security detainees at Mile 2 Central Prisons on or about the 6th of September 1994. Thereafter, we will address the allegation made against you in relation to November 11th, 1994. I will also address the issue of civilians who were tortured by members of then Vice Chairman Sana Sabali's convoy. Lastly, we will conclude with your arrest and detention. I noticed that you're wearing glasses today. Are those sunglasses that you're wearing?
These are glasses recommended by the doctor for me since when I was on detention at Mile 2. Usually I do wear them whenever I feel like, and then sometimes when I start feeling some abnormalities with my eye, then I wear them.
Well, currently we can't see your eyes, so are you able to do without the glasses for now, or do you need them in order to testify?
Yeah, I will need the glasses because I have some papers with me which I would like to look at during the questioning.
So let me suggest that you take them off now, and whenever I need you to refer to a statement, then you can put on the glasses in order to aid you to read whatever I put before you. Is that fine with you?
It's fine, Counsel.
Thank you very much. Can you state your full name for the record?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Good morning, Commissioner. Good morning, councils. Good morning, members of the audience. My name is Babucarr Njie.
Mr. Njie, are you known by any other names? Do you have a nickname, perhaps?
Up to now, some soldiers do call me the chap, or others. It was from the TRRC that I had the name Njie Ponkal constantly being called to me. Otherwise, up to now, the name that I was being called, which by some soldiers, is the chap.
So if I understand you correctly, Dicheb as well as Njie Ponkal are names that have been used to refer to you, correct?
Specifically with Njie Ponkal was not a name which soldiers know me of. Njie Ponkal was a name given to me by Alaji Kanyi. Alaji Kanyi was my senior. He was one of my section commanders at that time in Yundum in 1992. Because I was active in sports at that time, and also I do heavyweight lifting. So that was why he used to call me this name. And in fact, I remember that time he was the only one who called me this name, Ponkal. He doesn't call me Njie Ponkal, he called me Ponkal. You know, like when I come from the gym to the company line area, when he look at me at a distance, you hear him shouting at me, you know, Ponkal, Ponkal. So the connection of Njie Ponkal, I had it here during some of the witnesses' testimony. So he was the only person who usually called me this Ponkal at the time when we were in the same company in Yundum. So, but mainly the name that's not all soldiers, but soldiers who are used to me, you know, are the ones who normally call me the Chep. And in fact, that name was not a famous name. No, this name was called to me by few soldiers. Like I said, soldiers who I am friends with and who are very close to me.
Thank you for that explanation. So just so we're clear, when soldiers refer to Njie Ponkal or Dicheb, they're referring to you, correct?
Yes, Consul.
Can you tell us your date and place of birth?
I was born on the 13th of June, 1972 in Kaur.
Tell us a bit about your educational background. When and where, just a second, when and where did you go to school?
I started my schooling in Kaur Primary in 1980. From there, I come down to Joswan Primary up to 1984, then proceeded to Babucarr Primary. Then from there, started the common entrance examination. From there, I proceeded to Sukuta Secondary up to 1990.
So upon completing Sukuta Secondary in 1990, what did you do next?
After my Form 4, I was doing a petty trading, you know, upon hearing the recruit army selection, I went in.
So you enlisted into the Gambia National Army, is that correct?
Yes, Consul.
Do you recall your enlistment date?
On the 7th of May, 1990.
What was your intake number?
14.
14?
14, yes, Consul.
So you started telling us about the training that you received when you joined the Army. You mentioned Farafenye. Tell us a bit about the trainings you received and the promotions you had in the Army up until your current position.
In 1990, on the 7th of May 1990 was the day we started our basic recruit training. This training was supposed to last for 4 months, but at that time we had the British military training team who were stationed at Yundum. One of them was Sami Joselos. Usually at that time, Sami Joselos will come to Farafenye training depot every month once to assess our level of training. Then at the time he came and then feel that our performance was not satisfactory. So as a result, we were back squatted for 2 months, a period of 6 months in total that we spent during our training. Then after 6 months training, we came down to Yundum barracks in preparation for our final, our passing out parade. I could not specifically remember the month that we passed out, but when we passed out at Yundum, I was posted at Bravo Company. Then Bravo Company came down from Kudang newly. So I was deployed to Bravo Company as a rifleman. I was in Bravo Company from 1990 up to 1993, when I was redeployed from Bravo to admin company to be an orderly and at the same time a close protection to Lieutenant Colonel Odu. Lieutenant Colonel Odu was one of the NATAC Lieutenant Colonel who was the battalion commander in Yundum. So I was his orderly from 1993 up to July 22nd, 1994. After my promotion in 95, I was there until 2008. Actually, after 95, I was demoted to a private. When I came down from State House to Fajara Barracks, while in Fajara Barracks, as a Lance couple from State House, I one time had a small dispute with my company CSM, Mane, Major, I don't know, Lieutenant Colonel now or Major Mane. Actually, that time my mom was sick. My late mom was sick. That time she used to have leg problem. At that time she was in Kuntaur. And then I went to see her, but I stayed for a day, you know, without them knowing my whereabouts. My company, when I say them, I mean my company CSM and my platoon sergeants. They didn't know my whereabouts because I went to see my mother during the weekend. It was on Friday, I closed. So I was there. Instead of coming down on Sunday, I stayed Monday. Then Tuesday, I came. So when I came, he asked me, where were you? I said to him that my mother got sick, so I went to see her in Kuntao. And I overstayed because Kuntao is too far, and transportation, especially on Sundays at that area, was difficult. So I could not make it to come down to report to work on Monday. So this is why I could not come on Sunday. So I decided to come on Monday. So he said I should have call. I said I have no means of calling in Kuntaur, because if you know Kuntaur, it's a remote village and there was no accessibility for making call at that time, actually. So that was the only thing why I could not call to inform you my whereabouts. So he said I should go to the cells, I should go to the guard room. I said to him, no, you said you understood my problem. I explained, he said he understood me, but I have to go. I said, no, but once you understand, then I think that's it. So he charged me just on that. He charged me straight away.
What were you charged with? Absent without leave, or?
I was absent from place of duty.
So you were demoted. You were demoted as a result of that incident, back to a private soldier.
Yeah,
can you tell us what was your next promotion after that?
And then after that, I was demoted. I was there for 7 years without promotion. During this period, when, of course, I was at that time at Fajara Barracks, I was one of the most senior private, you call it Lance Corporal at that time. As soon as I was demoted, I became the most senior private. The first mission to Bissau, I was supposed to be part of it, but I was sidelined. For what reason, I don't know.
So what I'm trying to understand is, after you were demoted back to a private, when did you become a Lance Corporal again?
After 7 years, I was still a private. Into the 8 years was the time I got my Lance Corporal again. I start from scratch again.
What year was that again? Sorry?
2008. 1998. 1998.
Okay. And thereafter, did you become a corporal?
A Lance Corporal.
A Lance Corporal. What was your next promotion after that?
Then after 98, I don't know, I think 2001 or so, I got a corporal. I couldn't fully remember, actually. But I remember having my lance corporal when, in 2008, after missing for 7 years, the 8th year was the time I got a lance corporal. And during this period also, I was never been selected on missions or any progress that the Army is undergoing at that time.
I just want to make sure that it's clear in the record. You said it's in 1998 or in 2008 that you became a lance corporal?
1998.
1998. Mm-hmm. And then in 2001, you became a corporal?
Something, I cannot specifically remember the subsequent years which I was promoted from different ranks, from corporal to sergeant. I just...
What is your current rank?
Warrant officer class 2.
Do you recall when you became a warrant officer class 2?
I was promoted to the ranks of warrant officer class 2 in 2015.
I noticed that you're not wearing your uniform today. Any particular reason why?
I did not wear my uniform because I feel comfortable to be the way I am.
Very well. On previous occasions, you were wearing your uniform, so it's different to see you in civilian clothes. You look quite different.
Yes, Counsel.
Okay, so let's go back to 1994, when you were a private soldier. In July 1994, were you based at Yundum Barracks?
Yes, Counsel.
After the coup, and I'm referring to the 22nd July 1994 coup d'etat, were you assigned to any particular individual to serve as an orderly?
Like I said, I was an orderly and a close protection to the then battalion commander, Colonel Odu. From 1993 up to 1994, the day of the coup d'etat itself, I still became an orderly and close protection to Odu.
In fact, can you help us with something? We listened to the testimony of Mr. Modu Lamin Ba, and based on his testimony, he was an orderly to Lieutenant Colonel Odu until 1994. Were you both orderlies at the same time?
Yes, ma.
And you were an orderly until the coup d'etat itself, or were you relieved of your post before that?
I was an orderly until the coup d'etat itself.
So thank you for that clarification. What I'm trying to get at now is, after you served as an orderly for Lieutenant Colonel Odu, the coup d'etat took place. Were you then assigned as an orderly to someone else?
The day of the coup d'etat, I was not assigned to any person as an orderly.
I'm trying to find out if after the coup d'etat.
After the coup d'etat?
Yes,
Counsel.
Who were you assigned to?
I was assigned as an orderly and close protection to the then Vice Chairman, Sana Sabali.
Do you recall when you were assigned to that position?
Not actually. I could not recall the actual month.
Perhaps in relation to the coup d'etat, was it within a few days, within a few weeks, or within a few months?
Weeks. It was few weeks, because the day of the coup d'etat, when I was asked by Edward Singate to escort. When we arrived at the Denton Bridge, I was asked by Edward Singate to escort Samsidin Sarr to Radio Gambia that he's going to make an announcement that soldiers have taken over the country. So when I went there with Samsidin left me at Radio Gambia. Then I assumed responsibility for the security of Radio Gambia and escorting the Radio Gambia staffs when they are coming on duty and when they are going on off duty, when they close. I was there for 2 weeks. Into the third week, when I returned back to Yundum, was the time I got the information that I was called at the State House by Sana Sabali.
So that must have been early August 1994 when you were assigned as an orderly to then Vice Chairman Sana Sabali, correct?
You're correct, Council.
As an orderly to the Vice Chairman Sana Sabali, what was your responsibility? What was your role at the time?
As an orderly, I was an orderly at the same time, close protection, like I said, to Sana Sabali. My duty as an orderly was to take care of his combat boots only. For the uniforms, we are taken care by the wife. So I make sure that his boots are well taken care of.
So apart from taking care of his boots, did you have any other responsibility as an orderly?
At the same time, after the orderly, I was a close protection, ensuring that his security, he is safe as far as security is concerned.
Did that entail going to places with him?
Yes, Council.
Before we proceed, can you tell us about the other members of Vice Chairman Sana Sabali's entourage? Who else was part of his entourage?
You mean his orderlies?
His orderlies, his drivers, bodyguards, all of that.
Yeah, I was one of his orderlies. The second one was JCB Mendy. The third one was Zakaria Dabo. And then you have Mohammed Sambu. The drivers, you have Lamin Drame. The second driver was Dembo Jiba. The third driver was Alkali Jallo.
Say that again. What was the first name?
Alkali Jallo.
Alkali Jallo. So JCB Mendy was an orderly. You, Babucarr Njie, were an orderly. You mentioned a Mohammed Sambu, also an orderly.
Yes, Council.
Do you know someone by the name of Baba Njie?
Exactly. I oversighted him. He was also an orderly.
Baba Njie was also an orderly to Sana Sabali. Do you know someone by the name of Zakaria Dabo?
I mentioned Zakaria. He's also an orderly.
What about someone by the name of Albert Gomez?
Yeah, absolutely. He was.
So you've mentioned the orderlies and the drivers. Was there anyone else who was part of Vice Chairman Sana Sabali's entourage in 1994? Or these are the only individuals?
As far as I can remember, these were the only ones.
Can you tell us a bit about how his entourage was organized? Did you carry out your duties in shifts, or were you all together with him all the time?
Initially, like a point of correction, like when you talk of orderlies, these are people who usually take care of Sana's uniforms and boots. That was me and JCB only. The rest were not orderlies, they were close protection. Apart from me and JCB Mendy, the rest were close protection. They were not orderlies. So when you talk of orderlies, it's me and JCB only. So our responsibility as orderlies, like I said, was to take care of his boots and uniform. But fortunately for us, we were not taking care of his uniforms, but only his boots, because the uniforms were taken care of by the wife, that is ironing them, starching them, whatever. So it was me and JCB. The rest were close protection.
So if I understand correctly, the rest were close protection. You and JCB were orderlies, meaning you took care of his boots, but you also served as bodyguards as well,
Yes,
right?
Council.
Okay. So you were about to tell us about how you organize yourselves in terms of shifts.
Okay.
Please proceed.
Then the two of us as orderlies, initially Sana divided us, that is me and JCB Mendy, that when he is going to the office, like a day like today, Monday, one will remain at the residence, then one will go with him. Then the following day, the other will, the one who went to the office will stay, and the one who remained will go with him to the office. That was how we started initially. That was how he initiated it. But later, it was disregarded by him. So we all do go to the office whenever he's going to the office. So in the end, there was no rear guard that will serve as a rear protection for the family.
You said later. Later when? When did it change such that...
Not long. It's not more than 2 months after when we were there.
So let's focus on the initial period. So you started in August 1994. Looking at the period of August and September, from what I understand, you would take shifts with JCB Mendy in terms of being with Sana Sabali when he went out of the house. Is that correct?
Yes, Council.
Did that change when it came to actual operations?
It changes sometimes. Like, it was not specific to say, you know, we all should be going with him whenever he's going out. You know, sometimes he doesn't observe those things to say who will go and who will stay. This was within us. This was between me and JCB. Sometimes I will go when JCB stays. Sometimes JCB will go whilst I stay.
So let me focus your attention on an incident in relation to the Mile 2 Central Prison. Do you recall going to Mile 2 Central Prison while you were Vice Chairman Sana Sabali's orderly in 1994?
Yes, Council.
So tell us about that, starting from the beginning. How did you come to make that trip to Mile 2, and what happened when you got there?
It was one evening that while we were at the vice president's or the former vice chairman's residence in Fajaro, we were asked to go, or Sana asked us to go with him. Initially, we did not know where we were going. We went along with Edward Singate, Yankuba Toure, and Sadibu Haidar, with their orderlies and close protection. Because
Can we list all the names of the individuals that you recall? Tell us their names as well as their ranks.
you mean the close protections and the orderlies?
Yes, precisely.
I was there, Babucarr Njie,
We know that you were a private at the time. Who else was there?
I can hear you, Council.
At the time, we know that you were a private soldier.
Yes,
Can you
Council.
tell us who else went
Yes.
with you and what their rank was at the time?
Zakaria Dabo was there. I think he was a corporal. I'm not sure. I'm not too sure, because he came from the Zandam. So, but it's like he was a corporal at that time when he was coming to join us. Zakaria Dabo, JCB Mendy was a private. Babanjai also, I'm not too sure his rank, because he seniored me, but he was also with us. Babanjai.
Yes, tell us about everyone else who was there, so the orderlies of the other council members.
Sadibu Haidara was there. One of his orderly by the name Lamarana Barry was there. Mustafa Suso was there.
Sorry, repeat that name. Something Suso?
Suso, I don't know. Something, I forgot the first name anyway, but the last name is Suso.
Does the name Al-Fuseni sound?
Exactly. Al-Fuseni.
Al-Fuseni Suso.
Al-Fuseni.
Continue.
Did I mention Lamarana? Okay.
Yes, you did.
Al-Fuseni Suso. Yeah, I think these are the guys I remember from Sadibu. There was one Jassy. I don't know, something Jassy. I can't remember the first name. He was also with Haidara, Sadibu.
Who was with Edward Sinyate?
Edward Singate, you have Marong. I can't remember the first name. Marong.
Do you recall his rank?
Sorry, ma.
His rank?
I think he was a couple. Not too sure.
Does the name Lamin sound
Lamin.
correct?
Lamin Marong, something like that.
Are you sure?
Anyway, the nickname is King Kong, but
King Kong.
Yeah, I can't remember the first name, but the surname is Marong.
Okay, please continue.
With Edward and Mustafa Toure. Mustafa Toure, or the nickname Churo,
Churo.
was also part of Edward Singate's close production.
What about Yankuba Toure? Who was with him that night?
Yankuba Toure, Jeli Musa Sow was one of them. Sambaba.
Do you know someone by the name Ensa Mendy?
Exactly.
Was he
Ensa.
present that
Ensa
that
was
day?
one of his orderlies also, his close protection.
So apart from the council members and the orderlies that you've mentioned, was anyone else part of the group that went to Mile 2 prison on that occasion?
You know, this was at night, and it was difficult to see those who were there apart from us. I could not definitely remember.
Apart from the council members, Was there any other senior officer present that night?
I can't remember.
Do you know someone by the name Peter Sinyate?
Exactly.
Was he present that night?
He was there.
Did he come on his own or was he with someone else? Did he have an orderly, for instance?
No idea.
Okay, so this is the group that went to Mile 2 at the time. Can you tell us how this trip came about? You started to tell us that you were asked to go to Mile 2. Tell us in detail who told you about where you were going and why you were going there.
Actually, when we were going, we were not told as to where we were going until when we suddenly saw ourselves branching into Mile 2 Central Prison. That was the time we knew that we were going to Mile 2.
Do you recall around what time that was?
This was in the night, like after 10 to 11, something like that, 10 onwards.
So very late at night?
Not very late. Not very, very late. This was around 10, after 10.
Do you recall the date of that event?
No concern.
The testimonies that we have heard put it at the 6th of September 1994. Does that sound correct to you?
That's correct.
Thank you. Tell us what happened upon your arrival at Mile 2 that night.
Upon our arrival at Mile 2 that night, then we went straight to confinement number 5. We started at number 5.
Before you continue, were you armed that night?
Yes, Counsel.
What type of weapons were you carrying? Your group, that is.
I know of mine, but like I was carrying a PGL, but the rest...
Say that again?
PGL.
PGL? What does that stand for?
A portable grenade launcher.
Can you describe the weapon?
This weapon is like an AK-47, but it has a slight difference with the AK-47 because underneath the barrel of the rifle, it has a launcher.
Did you carry any other weapon apart from that?
Apart from that, no, Counsel.
The rest of your group, were they also armed?
They were armed. We were all armed.
With similar weapons?
Yeah, that's because those type of weapons were not many. So I wouldn't know actually whether they were all carrying the same type of weapon like mine. But I know for myself, I was carrying that PGL.
Okay, so the cells were open, or the wing was open?
The wing was open. We all entered, including the council members.
Prior to that, did anyone from your group say or do anything as you were entering confinement wing number 5?
Say or do?
Do
Not to my knowledge.
Continue telling us what happened.
I did not know why we were going, like I said, until when we entered. We all entered, including the council members. When I say council members, then the council members, I said that the prison warders should open their cell doors.
Who moved the detainees?
I was one of those who moved the detainees together.
So, step by step, tell us exactly what you did.
Actually, when these cells door were open, we were asked by the council members to move them whilst they stood beside us and watch.
To move who?
The detainees in their cells.
Which detainees?
The security detainees.
Give us some names.
Chongan, I think it's Ebrima Chongan. Mamat, Cham, quite a lot of them. I can't remember all, but I remember Chongan, I remember Mamat, Cham.
So tell us exactly what you did.
When we received the instructions from Sana Sabali, specifically, that we should move them to confinement number 1, maximum security, which we did. Now, when these cell doors were open. Some of them, like, don't want to come out from their cells. In fact, some of them have to sit flat on the ground. Then we drag them. I personally drag one of them. I could not remember actually who, because this was an order. And whilst the council members were just standing right behind us, watching.
Tell us how you dragged that person.
I hold the person on the hand and then move with him.
So the person was lying on the floor. Is that correct?
Not all of them were lying on the floor. Some of them were sitting.
We're talking about the first person that you dragged.
Was sitting, yeah, they were sitting on the floor.
He was sitting on the floor?
He was sitting on the floor, yeah.
And you dragged him by doing what exactly?
By moving him from his cell to confinement number 1.
How did you do that?
I hold his hand. Can I demonstrate?
Was the person resisting as you were dragging?
No, initially, when the action was about to take place, he was resisting. But when he was moving, he never resisted.
Tell us what happened next. Where did you take the person?
We moved them to confinement number 1. The security detainees were lined up. Then the council members were talking to them.
Did you say or do anything to the person as you dragged him?
No, ma.
How many people did you drag outside of this?
I dragged one because we were many. And not all the security detainees were moved out. Only few were moved out.
Did you beat any of the detainees?
I didn't beat because I realized that most of them were senior officers. Almost all of them were senior officers. And moreover, I was not given any order to beat.
So your conscience didn't allow you to beat them, but your conscience allowed you to drag the detainee out of the cell. Is that correct?
The reason why I did that, because this was an immediate order passed by Sana Sabali, who was right behind me. So there was nothing that I can do. You know, I have to drag them, or I have to drag him. That was the only reason why I did that.
How long did you drag this person? What was the distance from the cell to where you took this person?
From their cells to the door of confinement number 5. Then they stood up and walked the rest.
What is the distance, approximately?
From their cells to number 1, like 75 meters.
What was the ground like, the ground that you dragged this person on?
This was a cement floor.
So dragging someone on the cement floor for about 75 meters, did you injure the person?
It could be.
You said that your conscience didn't allow you to beat any of the detainees. Did you insult any of them?
Say again?
Did you insult any of the detainees?
No, ma. Like I said, these are senior officers. You know, I didn't insult anyone.
Because insulting any of them would have been going above and beyond the order that you were given, which was to drag them out of the cells, correct?
It's correct, Council.
So if any of the detainees said that you insulted them, they would be lying. Is that your testimony?
As far as I can fully remember, I was not that type of person. But I want to say that I was one of the most disciplined soldiers in the army up to now. If what I'm saying is true, the soldiers out there can bear me witness. I just found myself to be an orderly to Sana. I don't know how, because I was just called by him, Sana Sabali, that I'm to be an orderly at the same time a close protection to him. I am not related to him. That will make him to call me before the July 22nd to be an orderly to him.
So you said as far as you remember, you were not that kind of person to insult senior officers who were present at the security wing that night.
Correct, Council.
So which means that anyone accusing you of having done so, according to your testimony, would be lying. Is that correct?
Yes, Council.
So I'd like to play an extract of a testimony that was given here at the beginning of the Commission's hearing. While they do that, Mr. Njie, while they're sorting out the video, you mentioned that these detainees were dragged? Were they dragged individually or were they dragged one after the other?
They were being dragged collectively.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, the orderlies will enter a cell and bring out the guy that you asked to bring out. And they headed to confinement number 1.
And your testimony is that the orderlies brought out these detainees at the same time?
At the same, simultaneously, yeah.
Well, that's very surprising because the testimonies that we've heard from each of the individuals that was dragged out of their cell is that they were dragged separately, one at a time. That's what we heard from RSM Jeng. That's what we heard from Mamat Cham. That's what we heard from Ebrima Chongan, that they were dragged individually, one at a time. You're telling us now that they were all dragged together.
No, what I mean is not together at the same time, sorry.
Well, you just said they were dragged together simultaneously. What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is like one, like, you know, whilst the other is being moved, the other follow. But not like bringing them from, I mean, not bringing them all together from the cells at once, but I said like one detainee has been moved whilst the other follow. That's what
How long after one detainee had been moved did the other follow? Was it a matter of seconds?
Yeah, minutes or so, you call it minutes or seconds, yeah.
So your testimony is that they were all moved and taken to the wall and they were at the wall together. Is that correct?
Not together. One will come after some time, the other will follow.
And according to what you've said, they were all taken and lined up at the wall. Is that correct?
It's correct, ma'am.
So they were all taken, lined up at the wall, and all 3 of them were together.
Sorry?
All of them were together at the wall.
Exactly, ma'am.
Tell us what happened.
Yeah, when that happened, when they were all lined up, then Sana Sabali started shooting very close to them on the ground. And then they were talking to them, but the council members were talking to them, Sana Sabali, Yankuba Toure.
What were they saying to them?
I could not remember actually, but I remember them talking to the detainees. But what they were saying, I forgot.
Describe their behavior towards the detainees.
Yeah, their behavior towards the detainees at that time was like they were trying to scare them. They were scaring them, you know, as we will kill you, such as we will kill you.
Who said we will kill you?
That's what I said. Like, I can't remember, but I remember Sana and Yankuba Toure talking to them.
Sana and Yankuba Toure. Apart from the 2 of them, did anyone else talk to the detainees at that point?
I cannot remember.
So continue telling us.
We were there until when they were ready, the council members. Then they were asked to return them back to their cells.
Let's still focus on what happened at the wall. So you said that Sana Sabali and Yankuba Toure were scaring the detainees, saying words such as, "We will kill you." Did they do anything to the detainees at that time, apart from what they said?
As far as my memory can serve me, I can't remember them being tortured, because this is a long time, like I said. I can't remember. I remember them being assembled behind the wall facing confinement number 1 while they were talking to them, and then Sana was, you know, shooting indirectly very close to them. There was no casualty, neither injury. I think this was not mentioned in my statement, but I remember somebody putting a pistol in the mouth of one of the detainees. I cannot remember actually the guy, but there was nothing.
Who put a pistol in whose mouth?
Yeah, it's like Yankuba Toure.
Put a pistol in whose mouth?
Yeah, like one of the detainees. I can't remember the actual detainee.
We heard testimony from Mr. Ebrima Chongan that someone put a pistol in his mouth. Does that sound?
Something like, because Chongan, I did not know Chongan before. I came to know him when I joined them at the central prison, when I was also under detention. That was the time I came to know Chongan.
But your testimony is that Yankuba Toure put a pistol in the mouth of one of the detainees.
Something like that. I'm not very much.
Can you tell us what he was doing?
I'm not very much sure on that, but I remember one of the council members putting a pistol on the mouth of one of the detainees. But the actual person is what has kept my mind. I can't exaggerate it. If it is Chongan, then, but at the time, I don't know Chongan. I came to know Chongan when I was in mile 2 also.
I just want to make sure your testimony is clear. So the person in whose mouth the pistol was shoved could have been Ebrima Chongan, but you're not too sure.
Yes, ma'am.
However, the person who shoved the pistol into his mouth was Yankuba Toure, according to your testimony.
Something like that.
Can you tell us what he was doing when he shoved the pistol into the detainee's mouth?
Like him and Sabali, we are talking to them, but like what they were saying actually is what I could not remember now.
So you've told us that these detainees were dragged from their cells. They were intimidated as council members scared them, saying words to the effect, "We will kill you." Yankuba Toure pointed a pistol in the mouth of one of the detainees, possibly Mr. Ebrima Chongan. Did they do anything else to the detainees?
That's what I said. Like, if there was going to be anything, would be torture. Like, but I can't remember any of them being tortured.
The question is, was there or was there not any beating of the detainees?
No, there was no beating.
Do you recall writing your own statement and providing it to the commission in response to the notice of adverse mention?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to give you a copy of your statement, and I will refer you to a particular paragraph. Take a look at page 2, second paragraph. It starts with, "It is important to note." Please read what that paragraph says.
It is important to note that only council members participated in the shooting and beating of detainees which I saw. To my knowledge, no others participated, and the whole aim was to scare the detainees and not to shoot or kill. Hence, why only council members participated?
Indirectly. They shot indirectly.
Indirectly.
So just last month, your recollection is that the council members beat the detainees. That's what your statement says. Is that correct?
It's correct. It's correct.
So how come when I just asked you a few minutes ago if the detainees were beaten, you said no?
You know, it is the mind, like.
This was barely 1 month ago when you recalled that the council members beat the detainees.
You know, the statement that I gave here was my original statement, my original speech. Like, thing like that you forgot or you oversight to mention, but not actually meaning dodging away from what you've previously said or whatever. Because once I wrote this or give it out and it was written down, and then now I am here to testify, does not mean that I am running away, because I've already given this and it's in writing where I sign. It's just the mind.
You seem to be struggling to explain that, but the difference here is you said something completely different from what you said in the statement. It's not that you forgot, but you actually said the detainees were not beaten.
No,
whereas in your statement, you said they were beaten.
No, I think you asked me whether they were beaten by the orderlies. I
asked if they were beaten. That was my question. Were they beaten? I did not ask if they were beaten by the orderlies.
Yeah, that's why I responded to say if they were beaten, not to my knowledge. Because I thought you were saying they were beaten by the orderlies. As far as as far as I'm concerned, I have not laid hand on any of them.
In fact, what you said was they were not beaten. But we'll leave it at that. I think it is now clear. Your recollection is that they were beaten by the council members.
Absolutely. They were beaten, and like I said, one of them, which I could not remember, a pistol from Yankuba was put into his mouth. But it's now that I know it's Chongan, because I don't know Chongan at that time. I came to know Chongan when I was also there, detained at mile 2.
And you've told us clearly that you didn't beat any of the detainees and you didn't insult any of the detainees, correct?
Mm.
I think we can now play the video of Mr. Ebrima Chongan.
So now they opened my cell, and Antu Seidi, who was the deputy prison governor, they handcuffed me from behind. So when they handcuffed me from behind...
Let's get that clear. Who handcuffed you?
Antu Seidi, who was the deputy prison commissioner.
Proceed, please.
So he handcuffed me from behind, and then the same thing. They dragged me, they beat me with, boots, rifle butt, and I was crying. I wouldn't be ashamed to say that. And I say, wow, this is the end. So I just gave up on life. And then suddenly something happened. Then Haidara, because I trained Haidara before, I just heard him, he said, be careful. So I was wondering, because I had lost hope on life. And I said, oh my God, maybe my life is coming back. If somebody they're going to execute, why would they say be careful? So we went there. We went to the security wing number 1. Is this the same thing?
What do you mean by it's the same thing? Explain what happened.
Yes, I'm coming to that. So Sabali, they said, say your last prayers. And I said, no, I'm not saying any last prayers. I mean, if I die, I'm going to go to heaven anyway. You murdered me. So they just started, suddenly they just started firing. Maybe it was not long, but for me it took eternity. But also, I was a trained soldier. I know a bullet that's going to kill you, you will not hear it. But still, I was scared to death. And one of the soldiers had a pistol in my mouth to safety catch down. So,
do you know who that person was?
Well, it's a long time, and there were soldiers there. But I suspect it was Yankuba Toure. I might be mistaken identity, but he was there. So they stopped the ceasefire, and then they pointed gun. There was a private Njie who was Sana Sabali's orderly, and there was another Zandam who was a private, something Suso. I know him because he was in the Zandarmuri. And Njie insult me, tell me, and then we crawl and then went to security wing number 1, and then I was put inside the cell and locked up. And then they say, all right, we will come back for you. So they locked the whole place.
At this stage, did you know what had happened to your other colleagues apart from the fact that they were beaten?
No, but after they dragged me and took me to the cell, I had a hope that maybe they went through the same thing, but they were not executed. But so now I'm in my cell after what looks like eternity, and I said, Captain Cham, he has a name, they call him Mamat Betty. So I said, Captain Cham, is anybody here? And then Captain Cham, it took like ages, and then he turned around and said, Chongs. And automatically he said, are we safe? And then I said, well, Captain Cham, I don't know, in Wolof. Oh, yeah.
Council. But I want to swear by the Quran that I started with before my testimony. Like I said, I didn't know Chongan until the time I was at the detention. I was taken to Mile 2 on distant detention also. It has seized me by surprise to hear this from him, because I didn't know him either, and he didn't know me. In fact, I came to know Chongan when I was there, like I said, and Chongan was one of my closest friends whilst we were there. Him, Mama Cham, Kambi, and Sirif Gomez, if they are listening to me. So it has seized me by surprise for him mentioning my name as to I insulted. I swear to the Holy Quran, and I will swear again, that I am not those type of soldiers who easily insult. Soldiers are watching at me right now, and they know what I am saying. If I am capable of that, they know. If I am not capable of that, they know. But I am not that type of or those type of soldiers who freely speak to people anyhow. Chongan, like I said, these were my superiors. So, without without anything. I cannot just come and see him and then just insult him. For what reason? Why?
Because you were in a position of power and he was
no,
weak
I
at
was
the
not.
time.
I was not in the position of power because I was just an orderly and close protection. So
Chongan was a detainee.
Chongan was a detainee, yes, Consul. But that doesn't mean that I should do whatever I feel like without an order.
So why would Chongan say that you insulted him if you
That's
did
what
not?
doubts me. Wallahi, billahi. This and
a very
I was
traumatizing moment.
one of those who contributed
Not
to
only the humiliation,
reconcile
torture.
Sana and those senior officers at Security Wing Number 5, which I succeeded, except Chongan, who said he's not going to accept it because it is Sana who caused them to be there. But the rest, accepted the reconciliation, and then that was where it is.
So from everything you've told us, by the time Mr. Ebrima Chongan testified in January of this year, he would have known who you were. So he identified you clearly as the person who insulted him on the 6th of September 1994. Why would he say that you did it if you did not?
That is what doubts me. Because why should I insult him? What did he do to me that will warrant me to this day to insult him just like that? Just like that.